Back in January of 2008, in the gap between Persona 3 and Persona 4, an anime series was produced by Aniplex and put out into the world. Persona Trinity Soul. Officially labeled by Atlus as an alternative story, non-canon. Excuse me. It acts as sort of a spiritual sequel to Persona 3 that takes place in the far, far future of 2019. While the story itself may be considered non-canonical, I remember there was a brief period when Atlus was trying to make Trinity Soul into a thing, like having the protagonist hanging out in official artwork with you and Makoto. Look at that! Isn't that adorable? It looks like he matters. The series ran for 26 episodes, and while it never got a dub, was released on DVD to Western audiences by NIS America in 2010 as a 2-DVD set. There was both a normal edition, which is what I have, and a special edition, which I am officially making my new life's mission to track down and purchase at some random anime convention. Trinity Soul is a mostly forgotten show, and those that do remember it don't seem to remember it too fondly. So this year I have decided to celebrate the year the series takes place by covering an episode of the show every other week, and over the course of this year, we'll see if Trinity Soul is an underappreciated classic, or if it should have been left in the past. If you've got a copy of the show, or some other way to watch it, I encourage anyone who's interested to watch the series along with me. Now I think that's more than enough exposition, so let's go ahead and get started with the first episode of Trinity Soul Tuesdays. So the series opens up with this underwater redhead who wants to be out of the sea, wish she could be part of that world. This causes a massive submarine to appear, and everyone is really excited to see what's going to happen with it. Brooding anime detective boy arrives on the scene and decides to have a look inside, only to discover that there are no people. There's also a shot of a partly eaten egg salad sandwich, which seems entirely pointless, but I love that it's there, and I'll be inserting it variously throughout the rest of this episode. Detective McAngst sees a feather and vague books that he knows more about what's going on than everybody else does. Then, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's our main character, Shin Kanzato, spasming awake. He tells his brother, sibling, Jun, about a recurring dream where he's fighting for his life and something comes out of him. I usually keep dreams where stuff comes out of me to myself. And why are these two brothers on this flight? Why are they returning to their childhood town after so many years?
だってお前、おばさんやっと彼氏できたんだぜ。俺たちいたら邪魔だろ。
Makoto Yuki, orphan. Yu Narukami, couldn't go abroad with his parents. Ren Amamiya, escaping the judging eyes of his assault charges. Shin Kanzato, total blocker apparently. When they land, they realize their ride isn't there to pick them up, and start talking about how he really shouldn't be that busy. I mean, he's just the chief of police and all, and how the three of them are the only family they've got. Not counting the aunt we established not even 2 minutes ago. Apparently she's dead to us. Back with Broodlin 99, he's telling his secret contact about the secret details of the secret submarine incident, choosing to keep it secret from both the public and even his own subordinates, and treating it like one of the reverse cases, which are also a secret. I wonder who this secret phone contact could possibly be. The reverse cases, by the way, are instances where the bodies of several high schoolers have been found turned completely inside out, and we meet our coroner, Aiko, and I have a legitimate medical question. Do you think it would be easier or harder to perform an autopsy on a body that's inside out? The two brothers decide to hoof it home, and while we're here, I want to say I do genuinely love the atmosphere and environment of these outdoor scenes. We're so used to our Persona stories starting in April that it's actually really cool to see the beautiful snowy exterior as a way to start the series. But the two brothers can't get into the house, so they chill out in the backyard and reminisce about when Jun's twin sister Yuki got stuck up in a tree and Shin had to help her get down.
ごめんね。双子だから代わりに。
That's weird. You're weird. Quit being weird. Then they decide to just say fuck it and go get food. 100% all-natural angst beef burger, meanwhile, is looking through a list of teenagers possessing what's known as special A latency, some of whom have been victims of the reverse cases, with a few currently under police protection. Speak of the devil, one of the cops decides to call in and... Oh. Yeah, that kid is dead. This kid, the one we just saw on the screen, he's dead. And that cop that just called?
愛人って無気力症ですよね。
Hey! Just like in Persona 3! Remember? This is totally Persona 3, but future. Upon finding out they can't get in touch with the cop watching after the other girl from the list, it's time for an epic Lotus Juice driving sequence. Yeah! Meanwhile, eating! And a mad girl who is mad and screaming at a guy who is apparently a total lowlife. Back in the more exciting plot, the one not involving our protagonist, take that however you will, this creepy guy is being a total creepy creep on one of the special A latency girls, and we get our first look at how personas work in the series, as he summons his persona, Utnapishtim, to try and eat the girl's persona to strengthen his own. And this act of ripping a persona out of someone is what causes the bodies to get turned inside out. Mopey Gordon Freeman arrives just in time and is able to stop the creep through the power of epic finger pointing, before summoning his own persona, Kane, and then they have a persona battle. The personas actually look pretty good, and the fight is engaging enough. I mean, for crying out loud, Kane's elbow is a gun. How much can I possibly complain about that? Creepy guy gets away, but Punky Broodster is able to save Yumi's organs from being outside of her body, so I think we can call that a win. Full of cake and curry, our two brothers decide to head back home and encounter a mysterious fortune teller, and look! It's Igor! Just like in a real persona! And then Igor Igors by being super cryptic and warning Shin that many people are having their futures stolen away from them. Before we jumped out to the house and it was all a dream, except maybe it wasn't! If it wasn't obvious by now, beloved Disney animated classic and subpar live-action remake Broody and the Beast's real name is Ryo Kanzato, the third and eldest brother, and he's the one who failed to pick Shin and Jun up from the airport, and... Who are your parents? Why do none of you look even remotely related to each other? He asks why they didn't just get the obvious key from the obvious frog, like they're the idiots for sleeping out in the snow, and once inside, instead of a loving reunion between brothers, we get a scene of just pure passive aggressiveness, and it's a little awkward. Also, Shin can art, and seeing a sculpture he made of Igor, he decides to go check if he's still there. Ryo, meanwhile, overhears Jun talking to himself like a total weirdo. He said, out loud, alone in his apartment. Igor's not there, but you know who is? Our friendly local creepy weirdo who's having a total creep out on the floor of his construction site. See, eating all of those other personas made his very strong, but also really unstable, and when Shin decides to ask if he's okay, it starts to go berserk. And similar to other instances like from the games, this encounter where he's up against the wall causes Shin to awaken to his own persona, Abel. Now, to give full credit where credit is due, I like Abel. I think his design is appealing, his color palette is unique. As far as protagonist personas go, Abel does everything right for me. Speaking of that, unlike literally every other protagonist in the series, Shin isn't capable of using multiple personas, but Abel helps make up for that by revealing his signature ability. Shin's power is to make other persona users not persona users anymore. I bet that's gonna come in handy. And that is where our first episode ends. As far as pilots go, it's not terrible. I understand they had a lot of exposition they needed to fit in, and while it seemed a little slow in places, we still got some compelling story points, and I like that they ended it on Shin's persona awakening. Are we off to the best start? No, but we've got 25 more episodes to try and turn things around. Those of you that are watching along at home, what did you think of the first episode? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all again in 2 weeks. But for now, so long, and here's to a happy 2019. On the next episode of Trinity Soul Tuesdays.